pick up again after the tape turned off. Oh, the experiment at uni. So we had just water under flowing water, washing the hands, soap from home, and then we also used, when you do surgical in hospitals, the surgical stuff that you use, and we actually did a test between all of them. And to tell you the truth, we found that if you had the right technique, it was all about technique. And under running water, it was pretty much as effective as the other two.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but it had to be the water had to be flowing quite, fast, because you were doing it, you were dislodging anything that was on your hands, and the water was flowing, everything was being washed out. So technique to get everywhere in your hands to remove anything that might be on there, but also running water, no matter what you're using, is really important. Of course, now you do have the, which we didn't have back then, the antiseptic wipe, the lotions that you can use. So they are very, very effective, but they actually still don't replace. They're good to use those times when you don't have running water. It does not replace the running water, washing your hands underneath running water. It really doesn't. Okay. So, to maintain hand hygiene by washing, these are the objectives: before and after client contact, or any activity likely to cause contamination. We've already talked about those. And to follow hand washing procedures, to implement hand care procedures. Hand care is really, really important. I'm not sure if you've been over that before. Cover cuts and abrasions with waterproof dressings and change as necessary, and moisturise hands. Now, this one, a lot of people don't learn about that one and this one. I'm not sure if you did as part of your lessons before.
What is it? Implement
hand care. So that is to try and, not just at work, but at home, to moisturise your hands, to look after them, because when you start getting, and sometimes that happens, you get little, you get the little, when your quick goes, and you're quick, and also with regards to the length of your nails.
Sure.
So these are too long. If I was working in a healthcare setting or a childcare setting, I would say these are too long. One, for safety of the children with scratching,
sure,
and then also with regards to infection control. So that is what hand care procedures is to look after your hands, nail length, and also with regards to just care for your hands, with regards to, you have to wash and wash and wash your hands so many times, more than what you would normally do, and then that gives you susceptible to getting dry,
sure,
and then you can get, from the dry, you can get sort of a dermatitis, inflammation, and that's what you're looking out for, all those sorts of things. And that's why there is really important, and when you have a certain product that you use to wash your hands, then also you need to say at the end of a procedure, you wash your hands again, you take off your gloves and you wash your hands again. You should be moisturising your hands. And there should be a complementary moisturiser that acts with the lotion that they have for washing and cleaning. There should be one right next to it virtually for you to use.
Okay.
And you should be re-moisturising your hands quite regularly. Maybe not every time if you're busy and you're doing, but sort of at the end of a period of time where you've been washing, you're doing, say, nappy changes and things, then, at least 3 or 4 times a day, you should be moisturising your hands as well, And that will prevent all those other things. And then once you start getting cuts and abrasions and scaly bits on your skin from the over-washing that you have to do in this situation, then you are making yourself susceptible to actually getting infection. So the 10 most common causes of infection is not washing your hands properly. for all sorts. Yeah, hand washing is really the most effective way to stop spreading anything. And it's so before even at home, before you eat, before you prepare food, wash your hands. It's really, really important. And one of the reasons why is because no matter where you are, say here, just think of a surface, any surface, or we're out shopping, and shopping trolleys, or even, you know what I do when I'm walking up and down a step, or I'm on one of those travel escalator or travel ladder, I try not to touch the rail. Of course, if it's really steep or for safety, you need to sometimes, but truly. As soon as you touch anything, so let's go somewhere else. Toilets. Public toilets are getting a lot better now, because a lot of it is hands-free and you don't have to open stuff. So, you go to the toilets, you close the door, you sit down and do your stuff, you get up, or you flush, open the door. My thoughts are, how many people have touched that door after they've gone to the toilet, and how clean are they from, say, wiping their bottom to touching. So, worst case scenario. And then you're going to a tap and you wash your hands. In the old, and some of them they're still around, you turn on the tap, you wash your hands. Okay? So where do you go to from there? That tap running. What I always do in the old-fashioned toilets, if they have any paper towels, I turn off the tap with a paper towel. So that's infection control, because you don't know. So it's as simple as me sneeze. Put my hand down. So then
now I touch it.
You touch it. So that's the transference there. So if I have some sort of bug, lucky you just got it.
Yay.
So it depends on what you do. So if you've got a cut and abrasion, it could already be absorbed by your body. But it's more so, you touch that and then, I'm going to go eat some chips or something. And that's where the transferring happens. So we'll move on to the actual technique of washing your hands. So how are you with this? What does that look like? Does that look like something you do?
Probably not as many steps when I do it, because I'm in a rush to move on.
Yep.
If I was at work in a childcare centre, I would make sure I do them.
Yeah.
Certainly not at home.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do that many steps.
Yeah. It actually, if you practice it at home, it becomes second nature. So when you go to work, it'll be just something you automatically do. People look at me funny when after I go to the toilet in a public toilet, because I wash my hands like this. The only thing I might not do is my wrists.
Okay.
But in the healthcare setting, definitely, I do my wrists. But and if there's an option between paper towel and a air dryer, I use a paper towel.
Oh, why's that?
Because the action of the paper towel is actually also a second run of wiping off and getting rid of anything that might be on your hand. Whereas, because you rinse really well afterwards, after you've done all this, and you always hold your hands down. This action, what happens when you do this action? You've got water underneath it, and you've got the hands up here, and you're going like this.
It's blowing back onto you, further up your arm.
Yeah. Okay. So there's two things. You need to put your hand under the water to get rid of it. So I actually did that the wrong way around. My apologies. The reason why you put your hands up like this, because it drips down from where you've cleaned. I just did that around the wrong way, and it drips down to where you haven't cleaned. So that doesn't matter. But if you rinse and then you shake downwards and you put your hands down before you're dry, if you've got wet up here, sorry, I did it around the wrong way, and it drips down this way, so this area might be wet and have droplets, you haven't really cleaned it, and it goes down that way.
It's going back on your hands.
It goes back onto your hands again. Yeah, so, sorry, I did that the wrong way. So, yeah, so now, and then putting your hands in a dry, so you've washed, you've rinsed, you've done really well, you put your hands into a dryer, like that. If there happens to be any water particles left that might be contaminated, it dries onto your skin. So it just dries there and stays there. Whereas when you get a fresh paper towel and you're drying and you're taking off that moisture, anything that may be residually left is taken away. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah. So we will, okay. So this is the conclusion of the theory. We'll go and wash our hands in a sec.
Sure.
So you should have an understanding to how to identify and respond to infection risks in the childcare setting.
Yes.
You should understand the concepts of personal hygiene and have an understanding of using personal protective equipment.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's all your gloves and everything. So, and what we'll do is we'll go and wash our hands.